Hey guys, JH, welcome to Practice Tee. And as usual, it's a practice wind tunnel. Never ending here, guys. Really tough. But it really makes you a good wind player. Makes you a very good wind player. See, the JH Practice Tee here is like an English moors or a Texas plain. There's just nothing in front of us here. The wind just comes straight across from the south here. And the southeast, and there's nothing in front of it to stop it. A lot of times when I say there's a lot of wind here, you can't see it in those trees there, but it's coming straight across the ground level here, and it really does really blow hard. Okay, a couple of things today, just something that may help people in terms of how much backcock do I need on my shoulders, and how do I set up. What is the real ball position for channel lock? Something really simple, guys. Something that might help you. After you've determined what your angularity is with the difference between your alignment, if you're right-handed, left of the target, and the amount of backcock you've got on your shoulders. When you've worked that out, and that's in all the previous video, so I won't go over that, just go back and have a look at that. You'll see that from the very first days. Channel Lock for Dummies is one of the one of the titles of the videos, and that's not meant in any denigrating or condescending manner. It's just, you know, like being an electrician for dummy or gardening for dummies, that type of thing. So it's Channel Lock for Dummies, but that'll tell you guys. Okay, so how do we get the correct amount of backcock, and how do we have a simple system and methodology for setting up for channel lock? Okay, you can do it a number of ways, but try this. Imagine setting up. Imagine. I'm still struggling with this virus that I've got going. I don't think I'll ever get over it. Oh, it's nice to be a holistic healer and think you don't take any prescribed medicines or anything like that, but it just takes, and it's probably better to take a bit longer to get over something than have your immune system depleted by antibiotics. Okay, so if we set up conventional forward ball position here. Now the difference between channel lock and conventional golf swing is ball position. And now what is the difference in the ball position? Well guys, it's this much. If I'm here, if I step to there with my trail foot, that's the difference in the ball position. Now watch what happens there. If that's conventional, where I've got my hands in that position there, a little bit of sharp lean, forward lean here, two things happen. Clearly the ball will move back in the stance. The ball will move back as I come forward. But what also happens is that the shoulders close a little bit because I'm moving forwards and the hand and the arm triangle here is moving that way. Now watch what happens. Conventional ball position here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward here. Watch what happens. The shoulders are now, I've got this much angle on them, which is what we need for channel lock, because we want to have closed shoulders when we hit the golf ball, and we want to be firing the club in the channel here when we hit it, beside our body, not in front of our body over here. So we'll go over that again. If you were in a conventional position here, there, and I've got my shoulders basically dead square. Now if I do nothing else but just move my trail foot to there and move this here, look what happens. As soon as I move this foot across here, my shoulders backcock. Now whatever that amount of backcock is, that's what you want. You don't need any more than that. So that's a very simplistic way of setting up your angles and the feeling and the differential of a forward ball position as opposed to a back foot ball position. When I say forward ball position, that is anything on a right-handed player left of the centre of the body. That's a forward ball position. As we see here. There it is. Shoulders are square. As I move to here, and I step that lead foot away, the hip girdle turns and the shoulder girdle turns. And that's my amount of back cock. And that gives me my closed shoulders at impact. Now when you do that, guys, what you guard against, if I'm here, conventional position, I've got the club face pointing at my target here. As I step to here, and I move that foot there, as the shoulders go here as the shoulder girdle turns and twists and the hip girdle turns and twists, the club face can open because you're doing that. So you have to guard against that. So you have to make sure that when you go from dead square here to there, that we don't let the hands move like that. What will straighten the golf club face up, guys, and get it dead square is getting the hands back in line and the shaft back in line with the trail leg. The more you can get that shaft in a state of what Martin Ayres, that famous word that he coined, perpendicularity. If you can get that shaft in a state of perpendicularity, which is straight up and down, the club face will not be open or closed. It'll just be pointing at your target. Now I have mine personally a little bit closed because my angle of attack is probably 10 or 12 degrees into out, and I have about 3 or 4 degrees shut down on my face, the club, so that gives me that little push draw. Depends on the amount of angularity you have across your target line when you come in as to how much your face is shut down or open or whatever. Ball flight will always dictate how much club face opening or closing you need on it. That will always come from, say for example, I'm hitting good shots, they're going straight right for a right-hander. Okay, it's good, it's into out, but the club face is open. So just close the face down more at address. What do you think is closed down more at address? Until the ball starts to come back a little bit. Come back, come back, come back. That's all you want. So that's how you work it out, guys. A perfect shot with channel lock is a straight block. If you get a perfect straight block for a right-hander straight right, then you are doing channel lock because you are into out with closed shoulders. The only reason it's going right is the club face is open. That's elementary laws of ball flight. Now I know that they say that there's a D plane where you can have the club face open, hit into out, and you'll get a draw. Well, we couldn't do that on the robot, guys. On the Iron Byron, when we did that, the ball just went straight right. We could not get it to come back. And conversely, when we shut it down and we had the robot move this way, it would start right and then sling back. So D plane has always really intrigued me because it's never worked for me. If I have the club face open with an into out attack path, I always get a push. I don't get a draw. But that's an aside. Okay, so this is how we learn it, as we say here in Aussie. Conventional ball position. I'll try and get dead square on here. Ball position is sort of off the left groin, lead groin. All we're going to do here is we're going to step up with the trail foot to there. That's where we are. Now, as I get to here and I step away, my when I go from conventional position here, there, bring the foot up here, step away, we get some angle on the shaft. Well, we don't want that. We want to maintain that that uprightness or perpendicularity of the shaft at address here. And then from there, guys, that's the amount of back cock that you've got on your shoulders, whatever that is for you. And then from there, you just push the club down with it looking at the ball. Bill Phillips on MMI today or yesterday was showing people what he does with the club face going back. And he was talking about ulnar and or talking about dorsiflexion in the backswing. Well, that's an anatomical term, but for people who are not anatomically minded or inclined, all it is for me, guys, is that when I get in this position here and I take the club back, I just keep the club face looking at the ball. That's as simple an explanation as I can give. I just have the club face looking at the ball. I don't think about any concoction or anatomical processes. I just keep the face looking at the ball. And the thing that helps me is that I just keep the heel of the club in the same position that it is at address right throughout the backswing. And if I do that, if I keep that heel in position, that means that the shaft has no rotational value in it and the club face is not opening or closing. If that heel maintains its position, which is what I do when I putt actually, I putt with the heel. I always move the heel of the putter. I never think about anything else. If I move the heel of the putter in exactly the same orientation, the blade is dead square. And it's the same with a golf swing. I've got some guys down here, guys, their ball's landing here. I don't know where they're coming from. We've had to move off the practice tee today because they're top dressing it. Okay, so that's it. That's for people who've had trouble working out how to set up what is the position, what is the amount of back foot position, and what is the amount of shoulder closing. So we have a conventional setup here, guys. We just move that foot up to here, step away, and then whatever that step away factor is, that's how much shoulder closing or shutdown that I need. Pretty simple. Here. Now the more you can keep the club in that configuration there, the shaft up here, the more the club face will be looking at your target. The more we go like that and put shaft lean on, it opens the face. Unless you purposely shut it down and then re-grip it. But that's a lot of extra work and I don't think you need to do that. Okay. Now another thing, guys, for people that lack a little bit of, and this may be a long video today, but for people who lack some flexibility, and I'm very much in that class of person. Invariably when I come here most days, I come from the gym, straight from the gym, so I'm very stiff and tight. And so I don't have, you know, the capability to make a turn, and even though I never want to think about turning, I do think about it. I get here and I think, okay, JH, make some, you know, free it up and make a good turn in the backswing. Well, guys, you can get away from that. If you're someone that are reasonably strong and you've got good strong legs, you can eliminate that. And this is what I call the no-turn channel lock golf swing. And by that I mean this. Once we've set up here in position, and we're in our address position here, I never think about moving that. It's going to move, but I don't want to move it. And I'm not thinking about moving my hips or anything else. The only thing I'm going to move with purpose is my hands. And my hands are going to create a pressure factor. And I'm going to push down here as a pressure factor. Here. And what that pressure factor does, with my hands it will move my arms and it'll move my shoulders correspondingly and sequentially. That'll just happen. But what it takes away from, guys, is a lot of the thought of, you know, how much backswing do I have to make, how much turn do I have to make? Forget about it. Just let the pressure and the torque of the golf swing dictate how much the shoulders are going to turn, whatever that is. Whatever it is, just let it happen. It'll feel like you're not moving. if I get here, now this shoulder will move, but I'm not going to try and move it. I'm just going to push my arms there, like that. What does it feel like? It feels very stiff and rigid. It feels like a big windscreen wiper. This is a windscreen wiper on your vehicle. This is what it feels like. I'm just taking this windscreen wiper here. Wipe. Wipe. I'm just pushing it back, pushing it back, pushing it back. Now I'll get a bit of shoulder turn. I won't get a lot, but I don't need a lot of shoulder turn. And if you don't have a lot of shoulder turn, you don't have a lot of range of motion of the golf club, which you need to generate any speed. But the trade-off is if you can trade off range of motion or length of golf swing or head travel, you can trade that off for torque, for building up of torque, you'll get exactly the same, well, virtually the same result. I find that even though this swing will feel very stiff and rigid, I still get exactly the same distance. But it takes out a lot of the variables, guys. When I get to here, all I'm doing is pushing this down. I'm not thinking about anything, just here. Yeah. Now, if I didn't get my hands up any higher than that, really wouldn't matter. Because I've got a reasonable shoulder turn. I can get my hands up there. I don't want to do that. Because two things happen there. It gets the club out of its support plane, and I get disconnected with my trail arm. Now I don't do any of that. I want to keep my trail arm connected, like that, here, and the club is pressuring down. The whole emphasis of the JH Channel Lock golf swing is that I pressure down, pressure down, pressure down. I never get to here in the golf swing and then I get any elevation of the golf club. I never want elevation of the golf club ever. I always want pressure down. You will get elevation of the golf club because of the turning of the shoulders. If we never turned our shoulders and we did that, we could keep the club down. But as soon as we turn our shoulders, as soon as that shoulder moves down, the trail shoulder moves up, the trail arm goes with it and the club gets elevated. But that's just the biomechanics and just the swing mechanics and dynamics of a golf swing. That's how the club gets its elevation in the backswing. Unless you just stood here and you just did that. You wouldn't hit the ball very good if you just did that. Okay, guys. So, for anybody that doesn't have a lot of flexibility, you could try this. If you're having no difficulty now, don't try it. But I come here some days and I'm very stiff. And if I just think of doing just nothing else but this. Now guys, first hit of the day. That's the first hit of the day and that's a perfect golf shot. Now that's just a big windscreen wiper. That's just this, pressure down, pressure down. If it doesn't go back past that, I couldn't care less. The more pressure I put on, the shorter the golf swing I can have, because I've got that elastic build-up in the golf swing. So it's a big windscreen wiper, or what I call moving the Y. This is the Y guy here. The arms and the club. We just move the Y from here. We don't worry about the shoulder, we just move the Y. The shoulder will move to accommodate the moving of the Y, which is the arms and the hands. It has to do that anatomically. You can't move your arms back there and not pull on your shoulder girdle. So guys, it's a really nice, I don't know, what does it feel like? Does it feel short and stilted and truncated? Yes, it does. It very much does feel short and truncated. But it feels very strong. And what it does feel is very controlled. That's the good thing about it. It feels controlled because there's not a lot of angles happening, guys. We're not going here. We're not sort of rolling the hips, rolling the shoulders, cocking the wrists up, bending the arms. There's none of that. We're not doing any of that. We're just basically staying here and pressuring back with the hands. And there's another one. That's right on top of the other golf ball. And if you can hear that impact, that's really nice impact. Nice little short golf swing. But very windy here today, but that's just held this line perfectly. So guys, what do we call it? We call it the no-turn channel lock. It's just a pressure application. There's no turn, no deliberate thinking of a turn. We get here, and then we don't worry about this. We just push this. See, that moves, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm just staying here, pushing. It just creates so much, I don't know, you just feel like you feel like you're just up and down the line. It's a very short little jolty type golf swing, guys. I mean, those balls are all together like 10-foot circle. And I'm dead. They're the first shots I've hit today, and I've done a big routine in the gym, and I'm very stiff. So it's all right. Now I'm warmed up after 4 shots. I'm not going to deliberately try and turn my shoulders. Just pressuring down. God, guys, you got to see that ball fly. You got to see that ball fly. That's what I call a long Y, or long arms. I'm just taking the Y from here to here to here. Now, how to learn it, guys? How to learn it? Just get yourself a wedge or 9-iron, whatever. Just a wedge or 9-iron. Get in here. Not going to move that lead shoulder at all. Just take the Y back. Look at that, guys. Well, you can't see it, but that's just a perfect golf shot. It's very Mo Normanish. That's, you know, the arms really going out there, and I'm just firing those arms to the right of the target line. But I'm not thinking any wrist cock, like somebody wants to hit a little pitch shot from here. They take it in here and they think wrist cock. I'm not thinking any of that. I'm thinking no shoulder turn, nothing. I'm just going to pressure down with the hands. It couldn't be better than that. It's right beside the other golf ball. So you can learn it that way, guys. The windscreen wiper beside the body. Just one big Y. Okay, the weight of the club will cock it up and you'll get down low, but don't think about that. Think that the toe of the club is always pressured down. Pressure it down. I pressure it down with the heel. Pressure down, it just pulls this back automatically. But I don't think about it. Push it back. Front on. Get to here. Push it. Okay, guys, that's just for people that may not have any flexibility. And but I always hit it beautifully when I do that. Absolutely smash the ball. I've always been someone that's never had a lot of deliberate wrist cock in my golf swing anyway. I've always been sort of an arm ball player. Even my long swing is very much, I let the club just find its own way. I don't try and cock it into position. But with channel lock, I'm pressuring down. Even when I'm back to here, I'm still pressuring down. Pressure down, more pressure down. Okay, guys, that might be something that'll help you. But that positioning of the golf ball initially might be a good little process as well, and to give you an automatic ratio for the back cocking of the shoulders. It looks like a bit of rain coming in here, guys. I might just take a break. If it doesn't rain, I'll come back. There's something else I want to tell you.